There are two steps to making a product recommendation appear on your Magento website. The first one is we have to do something on Klevu's side. Then the second step is to do it on Magento side. So we have to create the actual recommendation, configure it. I'm going to walk you through all of that. And then on the Magento side, we then have to inject this into our website. So two different actions, but both of them are necessary in order to get this website, this product recommendation going on our website. So let's jump into step number one. I am here in the Klevu Merchant Center, and we're going to click over to Smart Recommendations, create a new one. Let's create one for, the homepage. We can inject one into the homepage, and we click Continue. Now, I have in the documentation, the notes below here, a couple of recommendations as far as what types of recommendation logic you would choose. So we don't necessarily change the page type, right? We want to create product recommendations and add them onto a product page or a category. That's not changeable, but what is changeable is this recommendation logic. What are we going to share here? So my suggestion for the homepage is that we either show trending products or recently viewed products. Either one of these I think is valuable. So recently viewed products, homepage customers are more likely to, returning customers are more likely to just type in our domain name, i.e. get to our homepage. Thus, if they have previously seen products or been looking at them and thinking about them, these recently viewed products would be right up their alley. The other thing is trending products. So what are the key items that are moving quickly or customers are really interested in? These are the ones that we want to influence the customer, at least to provide visibility of this, in hopes that it rings a bell for them. So I'm going to click trending products here and move on to our next screen. So our recommendation title is, I like that. What's popular right now? We can just stick with that. And then we have a couple of recommendation designs. So if we come over to templates, you will notice that the template, the default template, if this is your first time through this process, the default template is disabled. So you have to go in there to the templates, just like I'm going to show you to do in this next video, and you're going to click in there and then enable this template. So we're going to just stick with this, come down to continue. We can say maximum number of products to show. So we're not going to show more products than this, but this product threshold means if there's not even one product to show on in this circumstance, they've been filtered out too much, or maybe there's not enough machine learning data, which is, a short period of time after you launch a store on Klevu, that we're not even going to show it. And that's the advantage of putting the recommendation title in there, because it would look kind of crummy to have what's popular right here and then nothing below that. We don't want that, right? So if there's no products that are recommended in this certain scenario, then the product threshold kicks that out, so you don't even show the title. Nothing appears. It's like there was never any product recommendations there in the first place. So our final step, and this is one of the more interesting aspects of this, is the filtering products. And what's weird about this is that there are two functions kind of combined into this area. So we can say, of course, what products we want to be shown or influence Klevu and what products are shown, or we can literally hide the product recommendations for a given product. So if this is shown, and a product page is probably a better example of this. So if it's going to be shown on all of our product pages, and then we're building this one recommendation unit, then maybe there's a couple of pages we just don't want this to appear on. Well, we can use filter products to prevent this entire recommendation unit from appearing on specific products. Or we can filter out the products that are actually shown in here. If it makes sense, it makes sense to the filter product idea here, because if you don't want it to show, then that applies to the parent, the host page for these recommendations, or you can filter out the products that show on this page. So it can be a little confusing, but as you kind of dig a little deeper, and it starts to make sense. So we have our default rule here. We can preview this. And then we can edit this here. So on product pages and category, we can add new rules. On homepage, we only have one rule. So we can have the action be to filter or hide this, what I was just saying here earlier. Filter the products. Again, for homepage, you're probably never going to click hide recommendation because this recommendation unit's only going to probably show on the homepage, unless it's maybe more of a general CMS page recommendation, which would work fine. One thing to note is you can select, product page or category page, but to my knowledge, I have not seen anything that actually restricts it to only that page. So you could take a product page recommendation and drop it on a CMS page or a home page or even a category page. I'm not aware of anything that would specifically prohibit that from working, but you might not be 100% thrilled with the results. So in this case, we can filter the products and we can say, hey, we want you to only include products that price is less than, $100 US. Or actually in this case, we want to include those that would have a color of let's say green. Why not green? Right. So you can, there we go. So you can put some guardrails. You also can pin products. Say, okay, we love our Crown Summit backpack. Let's just make sure that is visible on the homepage right here. You can also exclude products. Yeah, they got this questionable product we really don't want showing up on the homepage. So let's make sure this, we'll pick something here that we just don't want it showing here on the homepage. So let's hide that. So you do have a good amount of control over this. We'll say done here, and Crown Summit backpack, that baby right here, is at the top of our list all the time. So save and publish. Great. This is set and done. So we can go into integration steps. Now, this is what starts looking a little bit scary. We are about to the end of step one. We've seen how to customize this. We've seen some reasons why we might customize this. But now we have this scary looking code here. We're going to pull this code out, and I will show you how to inject it onto the Magento side. So we are entering step number 2. Klevu step is done. We've completed that. Great work there. But now we're going to move into the Magento side, which means we need to have this code. This is our baggage to be able to complete step number 2. Fantastic. You're almost there. Okay, so let's come into the Magento admin, and we're going to come up to content and blocks. All right, we're going to create a new block. And the nice thing about a block is it allows us to be able to inject this in multiple places. So if we wanted to use this on other CMS pages or whatever, we can do that. Since we have this code already copied and on our clipboard, let's drop this into Page Builder. So come into Elements, drag HTML code in, click our little gear icon, and then paste our Klevu code right here. Click Save. That's as much you have to do with the code. You don't have to modify it or touch it or anything. It's just drop it in right here. Close this box. Now we need to name it. So I would suggest that we name it something recognizable. So we could call it homepage. First, actually, I would call it Klevu. So we call it Klevu-homepage- and what was the name of this here? What's popular right now? So this is very recognizable for you, and it's also an easy way to go back into Klevu. You see that this block title has been injected. You can go back and find this in Klevu. Without this type of naming, how else are you going to find it? How are you going to make that association? And then what we can do is we'll just, the identifier is nothing special. We're just going to pull this here to home page. We'll swap out all the spaces and dashes for underscore. Oh, we want it to be all lowercase. What's popular? Basically slugifying this in technical terms. We'll take that off the end. All right. So if you did want to translate this, actually one option would be here is you can, CMS blocks are injected based off of their identifier right here. So you can create a new block with the same identifier, but target a different store view here. So I can create this for just default store view, which maybe we can do here. And then I can come back and create another one for Spanish. Well, in this one, I can add in a different recommendation engine. So while it is injected on the homepage and these other places, perhaps it would only show different recommendations. Now, that assumes that this would be, for example, B2B, this default store view versus B2B store view, because and that would be if the content is the same. If the content's different, it doesn't matter, and just why not name these, how you would have it there. So if the CMS page is the same, then you can swap out the content based off of store view only. That may or may not be a helpful idea there. All right, so now that we have this set, we can come into our home page. Content. Edit with page builder. All right, so we come down to, no, not this one. It is under add content block. We're going to select the block. And save it. And we see our code has been injected there. Now, I will warn you that sometimes this does not always show up here on the front end. And the reason is if there is no product recommendations available, then it will not show up. However, in this case, it does actually look like it showed up here. And we can see what's popular right now. We can see our that Crown Summit backpack. It's always sticking around at this point. So we can see that it's here and available. Add to cart. We can do it right from here. We have injected this into our website. So we have added a product recommendation in there. Now, so you can, with that technique, you can add it to page builder. You can add it to any page one-off. But what if you want to add it to multiple pages at one time? Okay, that's really easy too. And we've already talked about the tool to do this, and that is widgets. So I already have a widget created to do this on the category page. Remember how I showed you at the beginning, in our jackets category, we have you may also like right here. That was injected with this widget right here. So I named this widget title, again, very similar to how I named the CMS block. Very recognizable. We assign this to specific store views, and then we can select what entities or where do we want to target showing this given widget. So anchor categories before page footer, and come over here. This is before the page footer. And then I have the widget selected right here. So there you go. Adding widgets globally, adding it one-off, you have it all right here at your fingertips. And personally, I like this approach better than the product recommendations, just because you have a little bit more configuration. It's as opposed to relying on a developer to customize this, the developer should inject these target places, these target containers. That's what the developer should control. And then that gives you complete freedom to inject whatever you want in those places. So again, this is the route I would definitely prefer in this case. I think it's a little more customizable. Then again, as a developer, I like to customize things. So take it or leave it, my advice there. But either way, use these product recommendations to their fullest extent.